Evinrude E-Tec has been outperforming four-stroke engines for years. With more horsepower and torque, with cleaner running, quieter operation, and better fuel economy. Evinrude E-Tec requires no break-in period, no dealer scheduled maintenance for 3 years, and no oil changes ever. But what about four strokes, like the Mercury 150, that claim to deliver torque like a two-stroke? While it might be lighter than other four strokes, the Mercury 150 is still 37 pounds heavier than the world's lightest weight 150 outboard, the Evinrude E-Tec. Lighter means less drag, quicker to plane, and improved fuel economy. And even though both engines are rated at 150 horsepower, the Evinrude E-Tec not only delivers nearly 25 more horsepower at 3,500 RPM, it also produces a lot more torque. And we're going to prove it with a good old-fashioned tug-of-war.
In the tug-of-war comparison, what we're demonstrating is torque, and what that really is power. How much power is going to be available for the customer when he uses his boat in normal conditions, like when he's pulling a skier out of the water, or planing the boat off with a lot of people in the boat, or a lot of cargo or gear. Those kinds of activities require torque.
We did it before, competing against a Yamaha 150 four-stroke. The results were startling. But what will happen with the Mercury 150, a newer four-stroke that's 25 pounds lighter than the Yamaha? We'll start by putting all the fairness issues to rest. First, both boats, Sea Chaser Bay Runners, are identical in weight and configuration. Trim tabs are at exactly the same setting, neutral. Second, both engines are propped and rigged precisely to manufacturer specifications. An independent observer certifies compliance in all areas.
I've been through every nook and cranny of both boats. I've opened up every hatch, every lid. I make sure the pitch and diameter, height of the motors, weights of the boats, fuel capacities is absolutely equal. The weight of both drivers have to be very similar. Both of these boats, the Evinrude and Mercury, are set up absolutely perfect.
Can the Mercury 150, or any four-stroke for that matter, truly generate two-stroke torque? We're about to find out. These are professional drivers on a closed course with maximum safeguards. Do not attempt under any circumstances. The drivers are ready.
Here we go.
The count begins.
3, 2, 1, go.
Both drivers simultaneously hit full throttle. But look at what's happening. The Mercury-powered boat takes on water as it's out-pulled by the Evinrude. Mercury may claim two-stroke torque, but here's the hard evidence. Evinrude E-Tec wins the tug-of-war, easily pulling the Mercury around the lake. That's because the Mercury, despite its claims, is still a four-stroke. And like all four-strokes, it can't compete with the real two-stroke advantage of Evinrude E-Tec.
Stop, 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 stop.
A four-stroke only produces power every other revolution. But with the two-stroke Evinrude, every stroke is a power stroke. The result is an engine with an amazing amount of torque, and more torque makes for a quicker hole shot and better acceleration. We'll prove that in just a moment with a head-to-head drag race. But first, let's compare what it takes to maintain each engine. The Mercury might claim less maintenance, but it's still going to keep you off the water. With regular oil changes, a lengthy checklist of inspections and adjustments, and a time-consuming storage process that's typically performed by a dealer. Not the Evinrude E-Tec, it never needs an oil change. There are no adjustments, no changing gear case lube, no tune-ups, and absolutely no dealer scheduled maintenance for a full 3 years or 300 hours. And you can winterize an Evinrude E-Tec by yourself in a matter of minutes, no trip to the dealer necessary. On the other hand, to store the Mercury, the checklist is long and time-consuming and is best performed by a dealer. This pretty much ends your season. But with the Evinrude E-Tec, you don't have that worry because it takes almost nothing to re-winterize. So on those autumn days when the weather warms up again, while the Mercury's sitting in storage, you're out having a great time on the water whenever the opportunity arises. Now, it's time for the drag race. It starts with two identical 19-foot Stratos Bass boats. Each is outfitted with our competing engines, the Mercury 150 four-stroke and the 150 Evinrude E-Tec. An independent observer certifies that the boats and engines are propped and rigged to manufacturer's specifications. Watch how the Evinrude-powered boat leaps quickly and smoothly onto plane. The Evinrude E-Tec not only has superior torque, it reaches peak horsepower almost 2,000 RPM sooner than the Merc. It's not only 37 pounds lighter with a better power-to-weight ratio, it has fewer parts for less internal friction. And because it produces power with every stroke, Evinrude E-Tec's massive torque simply crushes the four-stroke competition, no matter what the claims. The finish line tells the story. A quicker hole shot, better acceleration, and more speed. Evinrude E-Tec is still the proven all-around winner. With more torque, towing skiers is easier. You're quicker to plane for better visibility and enjoy all-around better handling and performance. And yet, even with its superior horsepower and torque, the Evinrude E-Tec 150 not only meets, but exceeds the most stringent 2013 EPA and CARB regulations.
The 150 horsepower Evinrude E-Tec direct injected engine is actually certified below US EPA and California Air Resources Board emission standards, making it the cleanest outboard engine in the 150 horsepower class.
To assure that Evinrude E-Tecs pass these rigorous standards with flying colors, BRP built a new state-of-the-art EPA test center in the Evinrude Sturtevant, Wisconsin facility. Here, the proof is in the numbers. In total combined levels of hydrocarbons, carbon monoxide, and nitrous oxide, the Evinrude E-Tec beats the Mercury 150 four-stroke. In fact, Evinrude E-Tec is significantly cleaner than four-stroke Outboards and was the first new two-stroke engine allowed on the world's most heavily regulated bodies of water. E-Tec technology revolutionized the two-stroke outboard and an entire industry. With Evinrude E-Tec, there's no smoke, no smell, no mixing oil. Just a clean, quiet-running outboard that delivers amazing performance and better fuel efficiency. While the latest four-strokes might claim two-stroke-like performance, there's only one engine that truly delivers. The world-class Evinrude E-Tec. If you want a best-in-class outboard that provides faster access to your favorite fishing hole and a better overall boating experience, the peace of mind of proven reliability, there's only one choice to make: Evinrude E-Tec.
Hi, I'm Carl Sandstrom. I'm the product manager for Evinrude Outboards at BRP. Recently, the staff at Boating Magazine examined the myth that today's four-stroke outboards get better fuel efficiency than two-stroke outboards. Well, after examining the data, the staff over at Boating Magazine concluded that when it comes to fuel efficiency, the differences were just too close to call between today's two-stroke and four-stroke outboard engines. So what are the facts? How can today's direct-injected modern advanced technology engines compete with the best four-strokes on the market today in terms of fuel efficiency and actually beat them in head-to-head competitions? Well, we're about to find out. Let's take a look. The popular myth that four-stroke outboard engines get better fuel economy than two-stroke outboard engines is largely based on the perception that this 5.5 horsepower 1960 Evinrude is indicative of what a two-stroke outboard engine is, and this 50 horsepower Johnson, another carbureted two-stroke. Well, these are the motors that the industry was built on. They were available for many, many, many years. But today they've been replaced by direct injected two-stroke engines with advanced technology such as the Evinrude E-Tec. And when you take a look at what direct injection does for a two-stroke outboard, one of the things it does do is dramatically increase the fuel efficiency of an outboard so that it can compete head-to-head with any four-stroke on the market today. Now let's take a look at the Evinrude E-Tec 150 horsepower direct injected two-stroke engine. This is a perfect example of what direct injected two-stroke technology looks like today. This engine is extremely fuel efficient, quiet, it's the most compact, lightest weight, highest performing engine in its class, bar none. Let's take a look into what technology helps it achieve that kind of performance. The problem with those older carbureted two-stroke outboard engines is that they used a carburetor to introduce the air and fuel into the engine and ultimately into the combustion chamber. In doing so, some unburned fuel was allowed to escape out of the exhaust port. That resulted in higher emissions and poor fuel economy. In contrast to that, the advanced technology direct injection two-stroke features a system that injects the fuel directly into the combustion chamber. This E-Tec injector injects fuel straight into the combustion chamber rather than in the front of the engine. And what it does is it puts the fuel into the cylinder after the exhaust port is closed, acting very much like a four-stroke to make this a closed environment and not allowing any fuel to escape out of the exhaust. That results again in extremely good fuel efficiency and very low emissions. This engine not only is the best performing engine in its class, but it also is rated at a CARB 3-star engine and features some of the lowest emissions in the industry today. Another advanced technology feature that the old carbureted two-stroke engine simply didn't have was an onboard computer. This is the onboard computer for this direct injected two-stroke Evinrude E-Tec. We call it an EMM. It's an engine management module. It's capable of making over 8 million calculations a second. And it controls everything from ignition timing, spark duration, fuel injection duration, angle, all those things that the engine needs to maximize its power output, optimize its fuel efficiency, and minimize the emissions of the engine. Earlier, I mentioned that this Evinrude direct injected two-stroke 150 horsepower engine was the most compact and lightweight engine in its class. And there's good reason for that. If you were to look at a comparable 150 horsepower four-stroke, you see that the cylinder head design incorporates all the components that are required for a four-stroke. Things like valves, camshafts, lifters, timing chains or timing belts, all add weight and complexity to a four-stroke engine. It's simply not present in a direct injected two-stroke. That means a more compact, lighter weight design that can result in 10 to 20% less weight for an outboard motor. And that can translate on a V6 to as much as 50 to even 100 pounds of additional weight for a four-stroke. A 100-pound advantage with a direct injected two-stroke can translate into better fuel efficiency on the water for the consumer. All of the Evinrude E-Tec outboard engines feature direct injection with stratified combustion. Stratified combustion allows the engine to operate extremely efficiently by only using a small portion of the cylinder's potential at slower speeds. In stratified combustion, because we're only using a small portion of the cylinder, it's kind of like having an empty room with an aerosol can that you're spraying the aerosol out and you ignite the flame at the end of it and you have a small combustion event going on in the room. The rest of the room's unaffected. But as more power is needed, you transfer over to homogeneous combustion. That's akin to filling an entire room with, say, an open valve from an LP tank. Now have a combustion event, and the whole room would be involved in the combustion event. Well, that's what happens when the motor transitions from stratified to homogeneous. That's when the engine needs to make all of its power and is able to produce the full potential of what the engine's capable of in terms of power, torque, and fuel efficiency and emissions. So as we can see, the myth that four-stroke outboards get better fuel efficiency than two-stroke outboards is simply that, a myth. Today's modern, advanced technology, direct injected two-strokes like the Evinrude E-Tec are vastly superior to the old carbureted two-strokes of the past. And they make a viable, smart option for anybody who wants a powerful, clean, fuel-efficient outboard engine.
Stern drive or outboard? Now, more than ever, the answer is clear. Evinrude E-Tec. Recent EPA regulations requiring catalytic converters have driven up the cost of stern drives. Evinrude E-Tec engines are not only 100% EPA compliant, they're significantly lighter in weight.
A typical stern drive adds hundreds of extra pounds, so much so that it's like taking 2 or 3 extra people in the boat with you every time you go out.
This dramatic weight advantage, combined with Evinrude E-Tec's superior performance, makes for a better handling, more economical to operate boat and motor package that can be towed by an average vehicle. Watch how this 18-foot 4 Winds H180 runabout, powered by a 130 horsepower Evinrude E-Tec, outperforms a comparable 18-foot 135 horsepower stern drive. Even with more horsepower, the stern drive takes longer to reach planes with more bow rise.
If you're not dragging around 300, 400, 500 pounds extra weight in the boat, the boat's going to come out of the hole more quickly, you're going to get less bow rise, and have greater efficiency and better performance overall.
The Evinrude E-Tec is not only 400 pounds lighter, it produces a lot more torque, because every stroke is a power stroke, thanks to its revolutionary two-stroke technology. The Evinrude-powered 4 Winds is faster off the line and quicker to plane with less bow rise. That translates not only to more fun, but better performance when it comes to tow sport. Plus, it's a lot roomier because there's no onboard engine taking up cockpit space, making for greater passenger comfort and more cargo storage.
In a stern drive powered boat, right here is where the engine would be placed. That makes much less room for the occupants and to actually do what you want to do in a boat. With an outboard on the back of this runabout, the outboard is mounted outside of the boat, leaving plenty of room on the deck to be able to get in and out of the boat, and tons of cockpit space to move around in and sit comfortably.
And the innovative design of the 4 Winds transom allows for easy entry and exit from the back of the boat. You'll also get better fuel economy because an Evinrude E-Tec not only weighs less, it squeezes more horsepower out of every drop of gasoline. And unlike a maintenance-heavy stern drive, an Evinrude E-Tec is virtually maintenance-free and can be winterized in a matter of minutes.
The technology is so simple that the motor can automatically winterize itself at virtually no cost to you.
To get back out on the water, you just turn the key. With an Evinrude E-Tec, you'll spend more time on the water and a lot less time trying to get there.
You're just going to get more efficiency and more performance out of your boat.
Plus, an Evinrude E-Tec is the only outboard engine that requires no dealer maintenance for 3 years or 300 hours. It needs no valve or belt adjustments, requires no break-in period, and needs no oil changes ever. You'll get more torque, ultra-low emissions, and reliable starting. And every Evinrude E-Tec is backed by a full 3-year limited warranty. Spend more time on the water. Experience the advantages of a runabout powered by the world's best-built outboard engine. Evinrude E-Tec.